I've spent $16,117 on Whiteout Survival in 111 days. That's right, the magic number 111, one of my favorite numbers. But this is not one of my favorite days because we purposely decided to not win state versus state prep, and this is what that looks like. In fact, I did a bunch of work on Mia yesterday. It made me super uncomfortable because I'm trying to lead by example, but all of you and my friends in the game are telling me, like, look, as the dominant whale in the state who's trying to help, those rules don't apply to you. It's the state's job to try to win state versus state prep. It's your job to be a powerful whale for the benefit of your team and the alliance and the state. So I did Mia yesterday. I'll show you what else I'm doing and what I'm saving for my next state versus state prep. But let me show you something about this state versus state prep that was really frustrating to me. So sure, we're losing, right? We are losing, which is we expected to lose because we're trying to conserve. But take a look at this baloney. If we look at total points, right? You would expect to see me, I hope not near the top, right? But you expect to see me here because, again, I'm the whale of the state and trying to maintain power for folks to help everybody. And even me, I'm trying to conserve. But let's look at this. How many times do we see 37.94? There's one in the 5th position. Let's see. I'm over here in the 13th position. We got another one in the 16th position here. 19th, 20. I mean, these are 20 mil, 25 mil points up here. And I was uncomfortable. We got another with 22 mil, 19 mil, and then it's starting to go down from there. But why are we putting up so many points when we're supposed to be conserving? So it's no wonder people are getting frustrated in the state because it seems like there are some people who are following the rules and not, and the others are being hypocritical. We're saying to save, but then some people aren't. Like, I think most people in the state understand my position and why I have to do it between being a content creator and being kind of the whale in the state who's trying to help with castle and things like this. But this is exactly why. If some of you asked, like, you don't just give up your castle, fight for your castle. This is why I kind of don't want to do it. Like, I mean, on the one hand, I don't like just rolling over and giving up. I hate it. It eats me to the core. I don't want to do that. It's a game. Like, I want to play the game, right? But I don't want to when we have this level of uncooperation going on. It's just like, let's just lose this, suffer the pain, and maybe that pain of the loss will unite people. That's kind of what I'm hoping. So I don't know, man. I still haven't decided, but I don't think I'm going to even show up at the castle battle because I don't see the point if we're all going to play like this, you know? Maybe it'll be fun to run some drills and do some exercises. I think we could actually have a chance at defending reasonably well, actually, if we had some good coordination. But I'm really just upset with this whole state of it. Not any one player in particular. I'm just a little bit frustrated by the whole situation. I'm documenting my journey, so I'm being honest with you about what's going on my account and with me personally right now. All right, so with that out of the way, let me show you what I'm doing today. Because this is like a free-for-all point sources. All I want to do is get my points for the last day. So I'm not doing anything more with gear. I did all my gear yesterday. I'm saving my heroes. The only thing I'm doing today for points is basically the chief gear. So there's this chief gear one right here in the middle, the 36-point chief gear, and this is what I'm going to be doing. I did have an account goal for this state versus state, and I am a content creator, and I know you guys like to see me pushing power for all the stuff I'm spending. So that's the one thing I'm going to do. It's probably going to put a decent amount of points on the board, but that's it. I'm just doing that and nothing more. And then I have some spending to do, and I have the prestige spinner to do, which will be quite nice tonight. So let's take care of this first. And now let's take a look at what we got going on for deals. And then I'll get into the chief gear and show you what I'm doing with my heroes. And then we'll do the prestige spinner last. So first, let's take a look at what's going on in the shops. This is already bought out. Custom pet chest, I don't really want to spend anything more right now. I set a big spending day yesterday, and there's something I do want to spend on today. So I'm going to try to be a little conservative. Don't need any more of this. The chief gear. So I am pressing chief gear tonight, and I do need some more prestige points. I need some more VIP points to be able to do. I want to be able to do 100 spins tonight. So I will buy a couple rounds of this because I think I've been kind of neglecting it a little bit. So I'll get that up to $20, and that kind of keeps things reasonably well efficient. Hall of Chiefs pack, I'm not going to bother with this even for the VIP efficiency. Crystal Energy pack, we're going to take a look at this. See this? For $50, we can get 300 fire crystals and 80 of the 1 hour speed ups and then some other stuff. Let's take a look at that in a minute. the hero gear enhancement special. Now, here's where we get interesting. Now, I have 2 more days on this, so I want to know from your perspective. I'm having a real dilemma about Greg, I think. I think Greg will be useful for a couple generations, and I see that Greg could be a good kind of like mixed hero, like good for kind of like attack and defense, or because of the health buff and stuff. So it seems like Greg is good for Castle, but I want to know your comments. I mean, Alonso looks like he's pure attack, and he's going to still be important for Bear. Greg, though, looks like he could be a good hero to kind of like even like attack Castle if it's like a opponent that you don't need all attack, where you can just attack with Greg in the mix, and then he's kind of multi-purpose where he's like attack and defense. But tell me what you think. From what I understand, people say he's useful all the way up to 6th generation, but I don't know. Should I try to max Greg? Should I actually how far should I bring his widgets? I'm gonna save Greg for one of these other side events, or maybe King of Ice Fields or something like that. But I don't really want to do too much with him because I want to save as much as I can for the next state versus state. So I'm not doing Greg now, but I'm going to be doing, if I do a little bit with him, it's going to be for these little side events and then save most of it for state versus state prep. But I kind of want to know your opinion on how far I should go with Greg exactly. I'm going to skip these other little side ones because I don't really need a lot of that right now, and we'll get more opportunity for those because we're not doing much for state versus state. I'll grab the daily deals, of course, see if I get lucky. Yes, I got more than 4, so I got lucky. And then I'll grab these claims. All right. Under the deal section, let's work this backwards because we got this crystal reactivation, and I want to explain why I'm spending on this. But let's go backwards, basically. So, Deadshot first. Don't have 5, so I'm going to skip that. We'll take our sign-in and the journey treasures. Take care of that. All right, now this crystal reactivation. Let's take a look at this. So essentially, if you look at this, if you look at the number of points needed, so this is 4, 50, 100, 200, and 500. And then if we look at the packs available, I mean, you can work this multiple ways, I suppose. You can probably save these. Are these savable? Probably. I don't know if you can accumulate these over time or not, but I would imagine you could. So these fire crystal embers, but if you look carefully, like these packs are aligned with those amounts. So 50, 200, 150, and then this last one is 1, but then you can get more by doing these other the tasks. So here I can grab some for the chief stamina, and then gathering I can get some. So I can do 5 of those gatherings to get 5 more. So this is how you can do the smaller amounts. And essentially these packs are lined up with those. So if we look carefully now, here, so essentially the Redeem 500 is going to be a $50 pack. And if you noticed, look at the number of hours this comes up with, and the number of fire crystals, and then you get this little fire crystal chest bonus, which is kind of like a random aspect. So if you look at this, and I didn't do the math on the speed ups but that looks like it's a pretty good deal compared to the other deal. So this looks like a pretty good deal as far as the speed ups and the fire crystals. Now, the thing is this is 300 for $50. So that's a rate of 6 fire crystals per dollar, but it seems to have quite a bit of speed ups along with it, and this little bonus. This is like rolling a dice though. But this is at 10 of those, that's a bare minimum you're going to get of 50. So you're going to get 350 for $5. So it's going to be slightly more than 6 per dollar. Let's do the math on that quick. So got 350 divided by 50, that's 7. So, I should have done that math in my head. That's 7 fire crystals per dollar minimum, and if you get lucky, maybe more. So that's not a bad deal. I mean, the best I've seen outside of the super special packs is 10 per dollar, and this is now 7 per dollar and maybe more. Depends on your luck. And because fire crystals are something we're going to need a lot of, and they're going to be a gating factor, and we're going to have to sacrifice some of them eventually for the refined fire crystals or whatever later. So I'm going to need a bunch of these, and so I'm just looking for opportunities. And here we go, as a content creator now, I'm looking at the VIP value because I need enough I want to be able to do I want to have 200,000 VIP points tonight so I can do 100 spins on the prestige spinner. And so I am going to buy these. I'm going to buy these up to the $50 mark. And then this I'll do that. And then I will work on, getting the gathering. I'll get the extras from there. So with that done, let's see how my luck turns out. So we'll redeem those. I'll redeem this pack. I'll redeem this pack. And that pack. And this one you can redeem 5 of, it looks like. All right, and so that's all sold out. So basically I bought out all that I could, and I imagine the extras that I'll get will just be saved for the next event. Now, with that all done, I mean, all of those fire crystals are worth it. But now let's see how much luck I end up getting from the extras. So let's see. 5 times 17. Bare minimum I should get out of these is, well, I will get out of these is 85. So let's see how much more I can get higher than 85. You can get randomly receive 5, 10, 20. So the most you can get out of this is what? 3,400? That would be ridiculously lucky. But the minimum I can get is 85. And if I get 85, that was $7 per fire crystal, basically. 140. All right, that's not bad at all. So 140 divided by 17, that was an average of 8. Not necessarily the best of luck, but a little bit better than average, so I think I'll take it. So that's what we have going on there. And that was the only thing I had left in the deal section. So now we can basically, let me take a look. Before I do the prestige spinner, I'm just going to have this little discussion about heroes. So if you followed me yesterday, here's where we're at with Mia. Mia's at 80. Her skills are all maxed out. Her widget's maxed, and her gear is looking pretty good. It's in a pretty good state for where I am, only 111 days into the account. I think that's pretty good. But the big question I have is, you know, how much should I be doing on Greg? You know, as the whale, I do want to do a little something with Greg and Logan. I'm holding it back because I don't want to spend too much during state versus state prep right now. I'll use a little bit, you know, on them through other events, and I'll kind of acquire their shards in some of the events if I can without spending too much because I want to conserve as much as possible. But the big question I have, if we look at his skills here, some of them are pretty, like this is interesting because marksmen are supposed to be, you know, attackers, but this is a health up. So that's health up. This is enemy damage down. And then this is damage up. So of all 3 of his skills, these are really more of like defensive skills. Enemy damage down and health up. That's why I think he'd be good for like Garrison in Castle, for example. And then I haven't unlocked his gear, but from what I understand, the gear is something similar as well. And he's got some decent stats himself. Like that's 290 compared to Alonso's 240. But Alonso, of course, you know, will excel in the pure attack aspect because of all the skills that Alonso has. So this looks like, that's what I'm saying. This looks like a good kind of like balanced character, but I don't know how long it'll be good for. So I'm curious. Tell me in the comments, you know, what do you think I should be doing with Greg at this point? I think, like I said, some people say he's useful to Gen 5 or 6, but I'm curious to know your advice on how far I should be pushing Greg as a whale. Don't give me free to play advice, by the way. I want the advice from the whales, from the people who are spending money in this game and understand what they need to do to be a whale in the game. And before I forget, let's take care of that chief gear because I had carefully planned before this SVS to get this gear. I wanted to get the coat, what is these? The pants and the ring, I think that is. I wanted to get these 3 pieces up to T2, and I think I planned for it carefully. So I'm not going to skip that because this is an important part of my progression. I can't wait a whole another month as the person who's, you know, one of the whales in the state trying to help my alliance and the state. So I can't sit on this too much, but I am, and it's useful for points for this event also. So if we go to the gear enhancement, I believe I had calculated with one of the calculators that I had enough to do this progression. So let's go ahead and do it and see how far we can get. So we're going to go one at a time here. Oh, that alone gave me enough points. Oh boy. Well, my goal was to get this gear to T2 as part of this SVS prep. And I spent for it. There we go. All right, I'm gonna stop there. That's me showing constraint. My goal was to get those 3 items of gear to T2, and that's all I did. Didn't do anything more. The rest I'm saving for the future events or SVS prep. Probably just SVS prep, because I don't think I'll need much more than that. But that's kind of a nice progression there on those 3 items. And now that means I get the nice little 3-tier bonus, the 3-item bonus for being T2. So that's a nice progression right there. Good account milestone to have 3 items at T2. And by the way, some of you have been mentioning, don't forget to at some point max one of the charms and one of the gears, because the progression gets more difficult and you want to be able to unlock the special conversion store. But as I understand, that doesn't come until like Gen 6 or Gen 7. So I'm trying to just do things evenly, that'll be good for the account progression. And then when we get closer to maybe Gen 5 or 6, then I'll start focusing on just one item to max so that I can have one of them maxed out and open up that store for the conversion. So that's the plan there. And if you have any advice, drop me a comment, because I try to read all the comments. Now let's have a little fun with the Prestige Spinner. I think this is all we have left to do tonight is the VIP claims. So let's grab all the stuff. There we go. All right. So I'm going to do these 10 at a time. I'll skip the animation because we got a bunch to do. But let's see how many puzzle pieces we can get tonight. If you have any predictions, take a minute and see. What do you think? How many puzzle pieces of each do you think I'll get tonight? Although I've had some pretty bad luck elsewhere, I've had pretty good luck on the Prestige Spinner so far, so hopefully that doesn't change tonight. Hey, wow. Look at that. Wow. That is just one spin, and look at those points. 3,000 points, 3 meteor puzzle pieces, and a frost sphere. And that was 10. That was just 10 spins. 2 puzzle pieces. This is pretty good. I'm liking this. None. All right. See, this is what you'd expect normally. All right. 2 more puzzle pieces. No puzzle pieces. 2 more puzzle pieces. This is pretty good luck, I think. A frost sphere. Nice. Although that's probably on track with what's expected by average. That first spin is hard to beat. 3 more. Check it out. I am doing good tonight. 2 more. Wow, that's crazy. Wow, another frost sphere and another meteor. And 3,000 points. That is pretty darn good. All right, we'll do the last couple spins we'll do without the skip animation, just for suspense. Ah, the dreaded 50. Look at that, another meteor piece. Man. And the dreaded 50 again. All right, last spin. $100. Oh, did I have one more spin? Looks like I have one more spin. $500. All right. All right, not too bad. I'll take that. So let's check out the Prestige shop now. So the thing is, a lot of these are just, items you can buy, but there's a couple that are unique that you can't get elsewhere. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this, because that's a cool frame and it's hard to get. I'm going to apply these 3 puzzle pieces. So that progression is underway. It'll take forever. And check this out. 16 more meteor pieces. 16 more. And suddenly, I'm a third of the way there. That's pretty good luck for one night, I think. Yeah, 35 out of 100. I'm a little tiny bit more than a third of the way there. Not bad, not bad. I'll take it. And this is a novelty thing. I'd almost rather grab everything else before this one, because it doesn't even have any, as far as I know, this one doesn't have any stats or anything. At least this one has some stats with it, troops defense. So we'll take that. And there we go. Now we've got the big spender frame. That'll look good on me. Hopefully you enjoyed that and you're enjoying coming along on this journey with me. And if you want to continue to see how this journey goes, what the spending looks like, and how, the drama that's going on with my account and my personal growth on this game and on the account, you got to help me out by giving me a like, subscribing, and turning on notifications. That way, whenever I post anything, you'll know about it right away. Thank you very much for joining me, and until next time, I'll see you later.